Good day, everyone, and welcome to our forum discussion on the topic student satisfaction with online learning system. As we all know, the shift to online learning, particularly post COVID-19, has transformed the way education is delivered. Understanding student satisfaction is critical for improving the systems and ensuring they effectively support learning outcomes. That's very critical. Today, we aim to explore various aspects of this topic, from the research questions and methodology to sampling strategies, ethical consideration, data analysis, as well as the finding. Our discussion will conclude with the insights and recommendation for the future research in the same topics. Yeah. So without further ado, let me introduce our team and the roles in the discussion. First of all, I would like to welcome Ms. Anna, our researcher, who will frame the research question and objective. And we have like Mr. Tanbot here, lecturer, who will explain the theoretical framework and the methodology. Victor, student representative 1, who will discuss sampling strategies and the challenges. And Wali Wu will be our student representative 2, who will highlight the ethical considerations, the key for data collections and so on. And we also have Lindley here, who is actually our data analyst, who will outline the data analysis plan. And we also have like TOSHIKAZU, our student representative, who will discuss finding, implication, and the recommendation. So finally, we will have a 5-minute question and answer session to summarize the key insights and encourage further discussion. So without further ado, let's begin our session. To start off with our session today, let's hear from our researcher, Ms. Anna, who will introduce the research question and objective for the study. Over to you, Ms. Anna.
Hi, thank you Bala for the introductions. I'm Anna and I'm a researcher attached to UNITAR in education, particularly in education. And my interest lies in learning about online learning and researching on online learning systems. Now, we all know that online learning systems have definitely made it possible for universities, schools, institutions generally from around the globe to deliver flexible learning to students irrespective of their location, right? As long as they have a device and they're able to connect to the internet and having a good connection, then they are already in the system. They should be able to follow through. And this was nucleated largely by the COVID-19 pandemic, and I think we all can remember, all right, and can attest to the time where we had to quickly shift to online learning platforms to keep teaching and learning going. And from there, since then, we realized that, hey, we can bring this to a bigger level, in a more consistent manner. That online learning can be done in a more consistent manner. So in the context of online learning, it is important that students' satisfaction levels are maintained as high as possible, because this immediately translates to higher user engagement, low attrition rates, and higher learning outcomes. So it is therefore crucial for educational organizations that are aiming at improving virtual learning to identify antecedent factors of student satisfaction itself. Now, student satisfaction with online learning systems depends on the quality of the instructional content, levels of interaction, ease of system use, and technological support. Self-generated studies, previous studies have also revealed that learning activities which make use of question and answers, discussion boards, role play, this significantly increases the level of motivation and satisfaction among the students, since learning then becomes fun and easily understandable. All right. However, there has been a call for more research on how general or little differentiated interaction opportunities how they can affect student satisfaction. So the objectives of this study will include the analysis of how interactivity in online resources affects the student's perception of it, and use this information to improve the quality of learning environment provided online. The primary research question, which my colleague will further explain, right, is basically on what roles do interactive online learning resources play in a system of online education to create student satisfaction. Now, based on previous works, this present study predicts that students who make use of the interactive online learning resource will have, all right, a higher self-report satisfaction level compared to students who study via traditional or non-conventional teaching and learning materials.
Thank you, Anna, for clearly outlining the research questions and objective, especially how interactive resources impact student satisfaction. This objective sets the foundation for the rest of our discussion today. So next, we have like Tan Boon, our lecturer, who will explain the theoretical framework and the methodology used in this study. Tan, please take it away.
Thank you to our moderator. First, we look at a theoretical framework for this research, which include the technology acceptance model, TAM. This has been one of the most influential models of the technology acceptance, and also the constructive learning theory, which suggests that learners construct their own knowledge through experience, iterations, and reflections. Based on this theoretical framework, we can present the hypothesis for this research, which suggests that students using interactive resources report higher satisfaction level than those using traditional materials. Next, we look at the justification, the use of a survey-based quantitative research design. A survey-based quantitative research design is often justified for its ability to systematically gather and analyze numerical data to address specific research question or hypothesis. Here are some key reasons for using this approach. Okay, first, broad data collections. Surveys allows researchers to collect data from a large numbers of participants, providing a broad views of populations. This is particularly valuable when studying trends, opinions, or behaviors. Secondly, standardization. Surveys using structured questions which ensure uniformity in data collection. This makes it easier to compare and analyze responses, enhancing reliability and validity. Third, statistical analysis. Quantitative surveys generate now numerical data that can be subjected to statistical analysis. So this helps researchers identify patterns, correlations, and correlation with a high degree of objective. And lastly, time and cost efficient. Okay, surveys are particularly online or self-administrative ones are typically quicker and more cost-effective than other data collection methods such as interviews or experience, especially when targeting a large sample size. Okay, next we shall discuss about the rationale for combining a hypothesis-driven approach with theoretical models. Combining a hypothesis-driven approach with theoretically models is a powerful strategy in research and problem solving because it allows for a structured yet flexible exploration of phenomena. So here's an in-depth discussion of the rationale. First, grounding in theory. Theoretical models provide a conceptual framework that describes relationships among variables or processes. They offer a foundation for understanding and predicting the phenomena. Secondly, focusing the inquiry. The hypothesis-driven approach emphasizes precision and clarify in research questions. By stating a hypothesis, researchers clearly articulate what they expect to observe and why. Third is testing and refining theories. Testing hypotheses in the context of theoretical models allows researchers to assess the validity and robustness of these models. And lastly, balancing exploration and explanation. A theoretical models offers a broad framework that can accommodate multiple hypotheses, supporting exploration of different aspects of a phenomenon. So, in summary, combining hypothesis-driven approaches with theoretical models ensure that research is both grounded in robust framework and flexible enough to generate and test new ideas. These synergies maximize the potential for meaningful discovery and theoretical advancement. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Tan, for elaborating on the technology acceptance model and the constructive learning theory as the basis of this research. This connection between these frameworks and the use of the survey-based quantitative approach is a solid foundation for understanding the satisfaction level. So next, let's now move on to Mr. Victor Gary, our student representative one, who will be discussing the sampling strategy and the adverse challenges encountered during the data collection process. Over to you, Victor.
Thank you, moderator. In research involving university students across various disciplines, employing a well-structured sample services target university students from multiple disciplines encompassing diverse demographics such as age, gender, and major. To achieve balanced representations, stratified random sampling is utilized. This method involves dividing the populations into distinct subgroups or strata based on specific characteristics that I mentioned earlier. Random samples are then drawn from each spectrum. This approach ensures that each subgroup is represented, enhancing the appreciations of the research outcomes. There are many challenges, and we come with the solutions. For example, number one, encouraging student participations can be difficult due to the two factors, like time constraint and lack of interest. So how we overcome this? By implementing initiatives such as monetary reward or gift cards can motivate participations, ensuring anonymity can also alleviate concerns about privacy, fostering a more open response. Number two, achieving proportional representations from each spectrums can be complex, especially when certain groups are underrepresented. So how we can overcome it? Carefully calculating the sample size for each strategies based on its proportions in the population ensure balanced representations. Oversampling underrepresented group may be necessary to obtain sufficient data for analysis. Number three, importance of sampling, ensuring reliable and valid results. For this, proper sampling is a fundamental to credibility of research finding. A well-designed sampling strategies enhance both reliability and validity. By ensuring that the sample accurately reflects the populations, researcher can generalize findings with greater confidence, thereby strengthening the study overall impact. So as a conclusion, employing stratified random sampling in research involving university students across disciplines addresses the need of balanced representations and enhance the reliability and validity of the findings. By proactively tackling challenges related to participations and representations, researchers can ensure that the studies provide meaningful and generalizations insight.
Thank you, Victor. Now, let's move on with Yali Wu, our student representative, who will dive into the ethical consideration of the study. Yali, the floor is yours.
Thank you for sharing. My name is Yali Wu, and I will now introduce what ethical considerations are and what need to be considered. Starting with the definition, ethical consideration in scientific research are rules or guidelines that scientists must follow to make sure their work is done in a manner that respects the rights, data, and integrity of all participants involved. This ensures that the data gathered is both useful and uncompromised. Violating ethical principles would mean that the data collected may not be used at all, or that research conducted could be potentially biased and or discriminatory, which distorts the results. That is why we need to consider the following points. First one is informed consent. Informed consent means that participants of scientific research will receive a description of the study purpose, reasons for the questions they are going to be asked, and details on their response will be used. Study participants will also receive the information that they have a right to refuse to answer specific questions or withdraw completely at any time without facing any penalty. In surveys and questionnaires, the informed consent is usually the first paragraph participants see, and they need to agree the terms by signing or digitally accepting the terms before they can proceed to the main question list. Second one, in confidentiality. Data confidentiality is about keeping personal information secret and safe. It means that details shared with researchers during the survey will only be used for the purpose explicitly mentioned in the consent part, and not disclosed to others without consent. Any data collected must be stored in a secured environment. At the end of the study, data will be securely stored according to the applicable laws for data retention and disposal. These measures are a way of observing the ethical standard of data anonymity, which is a culturally standard in this research. The third one is privacy. Privacy in research context means protecting the personal information that is collected from the people who participate in this study. It involves making sure that their identities are not revealed and that their information is not shared with others without their permission. This is important because it respects the participants' rights and make them feel safe to share their information for the research. Knowing that their privacy will be protected, furthermore, all data to be collected will make anonymous, and identifying information will be stored separately from the data to eliminate bias of the researcher. This approach is also safeguarding participants' privacy so that there is no misuse of their information. Privacy and confidentiality are going hand in hand and are essential to successful research. The last one is the right to withdraw. The right to withdraw from a survey means that participants can choose to stop survey at any time without giving any reason. It is their choice whether they want to finish the survey or not. And a researcher must take it clear to the participants. By doing so, on the other hand, participants generally take the survey more seriously, since they know that they can exit if anything makes them uncomfortable. In our research, of course, we propose to follow all of these standards to make sure that participants' data is fully secured, and our data will be gathered by the highest possible standards. That's it from ethical part. Thank you.
Thank you, Yali. Ethical consideration truly play a vital role in maintaining trust and the credibility in any research that the research processes that we will be conducting. So let's move on. Now we have like Lindy, very important subject, our data analysis, who will be walk us through the data analysis plan and statistical methods used in this research. Over to you, Lindy.
Greetings, everyone. Today, I'll present the data analysis plans for our study on student satisfaction with online learning system. As the data analyst of this research, I'll explain the statistical method selected, the importance of ensuring data reliability and validity, and how the analysis support our hypothesis. Our data analysis plan is designed to rigorously evaluate the research hypothesis. Let me walk you through the steps. First, we'll begin with descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics such as mean, median, and standard deviation provide a clear summary of general tendencies in the data. Specifically, the mean will reveal the average satisfaction score among students. The median will highlight the midpoint of satisfaction levels, ensuring a robust measures unaffected by outliers. The standard deviation will help us understand the variability in the responses. Second, to test our hypothesis, we'll use an independent sample t-test. This method will allow us to compare the satisfaction levels of two groups. The first group, students using interactive online resources, and the second, students using traditional materials. Field 2024 emphasizes that the t-test is particularly useful for identifying statistically significant differences between two groups, ensuring our conclusions are data-driven. Third, we'll calculate convex alpha to assess the reliability of our survey instrument. Cronbach 1951 introduced this metric to measure internal consistency, ensuring that all survey items cohesively assess student satisfaction. According to Delvalis 2021, a Cronbach alpha of 0.7 or higher indicate a stronger reliability, which we aim to achieve. Finally, we'll use SPSS and Excel as our primary tools. SPSS will be instrumental for running advanced statistical tests like the t-test and reliability checks, while Excel will help us create clear visualization to present our findings effectively. Ensuring reliability and validity is critical for the success of this research. As Creswell and Creswell 2017 explained, reliability ensures consistent results, while validity confirms that we are accurately measuring what we intend to, student satisfaction in this case. To achieve reliability, we'll use Cronbach's alpha, which will confirm that the survey consistently measures satisfaction across the respondents. For validity, we'll pretest the survey instrument to ensure clarity and relevance, following the guidelines suggested by Delvalis 2021. Without these measures, our findings could be unreliable or misleading. By prioritizing the reliability and validity, we ensure that the study outcome are credible and actionable for improving online learning system. Our hypothesis predicts that students using online learning tools will report higher satisfaction levels than those using traditional resources. The independent sample t-test will statistically confirm whether this difference is significant. Descriptive statistics will provide a detailed understanding of the trends, and Cronbach's alpha will validate the reliability of the survey. Together, these methods form a robust framework to test and support our hypothesis, as highlighted by Al-Musharraf and Carroll 2020, who emphasize the positive impact of interactive resources on student satisfaction. In conclusion, our data analysis plan integrates rigorous statistical method and tools to ensure reliable, valid, and actionable results. By using descriptive statistics, t-test, and reliability measures, we aim to provide meaningful insights into how interactive resources enhance student satisfaction. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindy, for breaking down the data analysis techniques. These methods ensure the research findings are both robust and actionable. So next, finally, let's hear from Toshikazu, our student representative, who will discuss the findings, the implications, and the recommendation for institutions. I think that's most critical here, and also for the future research. Toshikazu, please go ahead.
Okay, so thanks for the introduction, Bala. Let me start by talking about the findings and their implications. Interactive online resources clearly improve student satisfaction. So they actively involve learners in the process, which can lead to better learning outcomes. That said, these resources aren't always effective for everyone. So some students might face technical challenges or cultural differences that make them less comfortable with interaction. Also, many studies focus only on short-term data, so we really need to look at their long-term impact. Now, about sampling. Using stratified random sampling helps ensure that students from diverse backgrounds are evenly represented. This increases the reliability of the results and makes it easier to generalize the findings. But there are some challenges. It can be expensive due to the extra time and effort involved, and it's a bit more complicated to set up compared to simpler methods. Plus, if the sample size isn't big enough, there is a risk that the result won't be statistically significant. And finally, let's touch on ethics. It's super important to maintain anonymity and get informed consent from the participants. This builds trust and ensures the research is ethical. But problems can arise if anonymization isn't done properly or if participants don't fully understand what they are agreeing to. In international studies especially, it's crucial to consider cultural differences when designing ethical procedures. In conclusion, based on these findings, here are my recommendations for educational institutions. First, invest in interactive learning tools tailored to diverse students' needs. This improves engagement but can be costly, especially for smaller institutions. Well, without proper support, these tools could lead to dissatisfaction instead of improvements. Second, strengthen educator training programs. So these should focus on using tools as ethically and effectively, like managing student data securely. However, educators may resist training if it adds too much to their workload or if they are skeptical about the tool's value. So lastly, let's talk about the future research. We need to study long-term changes in satisfaction and outcomes using stratified random sampling. While this can be costly, using automated data collection from platforms like Moodle can reduce the workload. Advanced methods like multivariate regression or SEM can also help make the analysis more efficient. So comparing tools across education levels or regions can show how adaptable they are. However, cultural and institutional differences require careful adjustments to avoid bias. Standardization survey frameworks, like using a Likert scale, can make cross-group comparisons more accurate. So that's my summary of findings, recommendations, and research directions. Thank you.
So please give a round of applause to all our panelists today. I think for a very good, very insightful discussion. So before we wrap up, I would like to thank everyone for their contribution today. Each of you have provided a unique perspective, making this discussion both engaging and informative. To summarize, we have explored how interactive online learning resources impact student satisfaction, focusing on the research design, ethical consideration, and the data analysis. These insights will guide institutions in enhancing their online learning system for better engagement as well as retention. So once again, thank you all for your time and effort in preparing these sessions. So let's continue working together to make a meaningful progress in this area of research. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Greetings everyone. Today I'll present the data analysis plans for our study on student satisfaction with online learning system. As the data analyst of this research, I'll explain the statistical method selected, the importance of ensuring data reliability and validity, and how the analysis support our hypothesis. Our data analysis plan is designed to rigorously evaluate the research hypothesis. Let me walk you through the steps. First, we'll begin with descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics such as mean, median, and standard deviation provide a clear summary of general tendencies in the data. Specifically, the mean will reveal the average satisfaction score among students. The median will highlight the midpoint of satisfaction levels, ensuring a robust measures unaffected by outliers. The standard deviation will help us understand the variability in the responses. Second, to test our hypothesis, we'll use an independent sample t-test. This method will allow us to compare the satisfaction levels of two groups. The first group, students using interactive online resources, and the second, students using traditional materials. Field 2024 emphasizes that the t-test is particularly useful for identifying statistically significant differences between two groups, ensuring our conclusions are data-driven. Third, we'll calculate convex alpha to assess the reliability of our survey instrument. Cronbach 1951 introduced this metric to measure internal consistency, ensuring that all survey items cohesively assess student satisfaction. According to Delvelis 2021, a Cronbach alpha of 0.7 or higher indicate a stronger reliability, which we aim to achieve. Finally, we'll use SPSS and Excel as our primary tools. SPSS will be instrumental for running advanced statistical tests like the t-test and reliability checks, while Excel will help us create clear visualization to present our findings effectively. Ensuring reliability and validity is critical for the success of this research. As Creswell and Creswell 2017 explained, reliability ensures consistent results, while validity confirms that we are accurately measuring what we intend to. Student satisfaction in this case. To achieve reliability, we'll use Cronbach's alpha, which will confirm that the survey consistently measures satisfaction across the respondents. For validity, we'll pre-test the survey instrument to ensure clarity and relevance, following the guidelines suggested by Delvelis 2021. Without these measures, our findings could be unreliable or misleading. By prioritizing the reliability and validity, we ensure that the study outcome are credible and actionable for improving online learning system. Our hypothesis predicts that students using online learning tools will report higher satisfaction levels than those using traditional resources. The independent sample t-test will statistically confirm whether this difference is significant. Descriptive statistics will provide a detailed understanding of the trends, and Cronbach's alpha will validate the reliability of the survey. Together, these methods form a robust framework to test and support our hypothesis, as highlighted by Al-Musharraf and Caro 2020, who emphasize the positive impact of interactive resources on student satisfaction. In conclusion, our data analysis plan integrates rigorous statistical method and tools to ensure reliable, valid, and actionable results. By using descriptive statistics, t-test, and reliability measures, we aim to provide meaningful insights into how interactive resources enhance student satisfaction. And that's all from me. Thank you.